Hey there, Linda here with you from Gumnut Lane Jewellery. Do you guys remember these that I showed you a few videos ago? These little copper tubes, I was calling them, because I didn't know what they were. They're actually electrician crimps for electricity. So we're going to be using these today. We're going to be making and we're using the very small one. We're going to be making a pair of wind chime earrings. So if you'd like to learn how to make the wind chime earrings, and here they are, two examples. I've used two different beads to give you two different looks there, which are, you can change them up anytime you feel like it. Just change the colour of the bead out to match your outfit. So if you'd like to learn how to make these, just keep watching and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we're going to make some hoops here. So I've got some 20 gauge wire in the copper, soft copper. I think you could probably make these, and it's something I would do anyway, in an 18 gauge. Now I know they say that 20 gauge is probably the thickest that should go through your piercing in your ear, but I've found I can fit an 18 gauge in mine quite easy, and my holes haven't stretched. I've never been a person that's worn really heavy earrings, so my holes haven't actually stretched over time. And I find the 18 gauge goes through quite easily, no pain, no anything. But, you just decide yourself. Maybe if you've got a piece of 18 gauge and trimmed off the end and filed it and everything, and just inserted it into your ear, not your ear, your piercing in your ear, and just see what you think. But as I said, and I think because if you made them in an 18 gauge, they're going to be a lot sturdier than the 20 gauge. Even though it's going to be hammered, I still find 20 gauge, even though a lot of people refer to it as a thick wire, I think it's quite a flimsy wire. But that's just my personal opinion. You decide for yourself. But for now, I'm going to make these in the 20 gauge. So as you can see here, I've marked down on my round mandrel here. And these are not measurements. That's not 7mm or 9mm or anything. It's just numbered so I know where to come back to, because you can get lost without, not knowing. Like, you could start off with an 8 and then make something and then come back and go, oh, God, what size was that again? So I just put the numbers on it. That's just my little way of remembering. Anyway, shut up, Linda, and get on with it. Okay, so we're just going to make a couple of hoops here. So I'm just going to wind this around. Amazing, a week off and I can gabble like anything, jeez. Okay, now this can get a little bit slippery, so just try and hold on to that tail end there while you do this. And we're going to go around twice. And this is mostly for people who haven't made a hoop before. If you've made a hoop before, you can skip ahead. Okay, and I'm leaving an overlap. You see where the tail end is here? I'm going to leave roughly the same amount on the other side there. And then I'm going to come in with my cutters and cut that off. And take my mandrel off and put him aside. We don't need him again for the moment. And I'm going to grab my cutters again and come up here to the top. Now, I just eyeball this. You can get, pedantic and measure if you want to, but I don't think that's necessary. It's, it's just a guesstimation. That's, you don't have to be exact. And I'm just going to come in there and cut that wire where I think is the middle, which gives me two hoops. Like that. Then I'm going to grab my, what do I want now? My round nose pliers. And I'm just checking that I've flush cut both of those, and this one needs flush cutting. Of course it does, because it was the other end of the wire. So just get that little flush cut. Might as well check the other one while I'm at it. And they're both good. All right. So I've got my little piece of wire here, and I'm just going to grab the end of that, the very tip of it, and we're going to turn a circle, a loop. I suppose it is a circle, isn't it? Just turn your loop back like that. I'm going to come in with a pair of flat nose pliers or chain nose pliers, whatever you've got. And I'm going to grab that loop. Oops, I'm going to give it a little bend first. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that. Just give it a little bend up. That's terrible, Linda. Anyway, I'll fix that up later. I'm going to turn that loop out. And then just see it pops through like that. Now see how it's got out of shape? Don't worry about that. Okay, I'm just going to fix this little bend up here. Okay, then grab your mandrel again, pop it back onto the size that we started off with, which was a 10 for me. So you can make this any size, and I'm just going to push that back into shape again. Just giving it a good push all the way around to get that nice round shape again, as you can see there. So then you do the same thing for the other side, but do it, well, do it the same way, but make sure you've got the mirror reverse when they're finished. So you've got, you know, one loop coming this way, and on the other side you've got the other loop coming that way. And I'll come back with you in just a sec. Back with you. Now what I should have mentioned first off, and this is just my brain, was we're going to hammer these now, but I should have hammered them before I turned the loop around. So when the loop is still flat, do your hammering then. Yeah, I have a week off and my brain is worse than it was before I took the time. So I'm just going to hammer this with your rubber mallet. Try and keep that loop now that I've made it, keep it off the thing. I don't want to flatten that. So just give them a good hammer both sides. Same with the other one. And this is just, it's not flattening the wire or changing the shape of it or anything. It's just strengthening the wire. That's it, just stabilizing it. Oops. There we go. Okay, so we've got both our hoops made there. I'm going to cut some more 20 gauge wire. So make sure you've flush cut your ends. And I'm going to measure off. I think this should be enough. Straighten my wire out a little bit. Yeah, that should be enough. I was going to go 5 centimeters. We'll go 5.5 just to be on the safe side. So cut 5 of those equally. You need 5 of them. So just use your other one here now as a measurement and give that a flush cut. And then just yeah, cut 5 of those. And I'm going to finish cutting my 5. And I'm also going to torch the ends of them. So I'm going to ball the ends of them. Now, if you don't have a torch, or you don't like to use a torch, or, you know, whatever reason, you don't need to do that. You could do, this might be a little bit thick. I have done it, but I know for most people it might be a little bit thick to do a knotted head pin. So if you were going to do that, leave extra. I would probably go, what, I cut that at 5.5. I'd probably go 6 centimeters to cut that and do a knotted head pin. You can flatten that now with a metal hammer, do it like a little paddle on it, or you can just turn a little end on it. So just grab your pliers right on the tip. and just get that over, turn a little end and just gently flatten it. Oops, it wants to turn on you, so that's why you've got to do it slowly and gently. So using the thicker part of your pliers is easy. So just so you've got a little bend like that to stop your bead coming off. So you could do something like that if you wanted to. But I'm going to ball mine. I have promised you that I will do a tutorial on balling the ends of the wire, and that will be coming up soon. Yeah, so go ahead and do whatever you're going to do with your 5 pieces, and I'll do what I'm going to do, and I'll get back with you. Okay, back with you. Now, before I went off camera just a moment ago, I said to make 5 of those. What I should have said was make 10, because you're making 2 pair of earrings. I was just thinking of 1 earring at the time. So make 10 of those, not 5. Okay, and also too, while I was off camera, I went ahead and made my little doobies here to save some time. So what I'm going to do, I'll give you the measurements that I've got there for those. We'll just make one up for now, and yeah, I'll give you the measurements of the other ones. So how I'm going to do this is, because I didn't write my measurements down, I never do, and a lot of people don't, so this is how I do it. So I've got my little made one here. So I'm going to hold him up, hold the other one next to it, and see where the loop starts there, and that's where I'm going to make my loop on this one. So I'm just going to bend that over. Oh, Linda, stop. Getting so ahead of myself, goodness gracious. We need to add our little tubes. Ah dear, you gotta laugh, don't you? Just I'm gonna blame it on Christmas brain. Yeah, plus my daughter's in hospital at the moment, and she went in on Saturday morning, and it's now Monday morning, and I haven't heard from her. So and I've rang the hospital, and they don't give out information other than, you know, she's okay, basically. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried. Okay, so I'm adding on here, what I've got is a 2mm copper bead. Now when you get your 2mm order your 2mm copper beads, just make sure that they've got a big enough hole to fit over a 20 gauge wire, because they're tiny little things, but they do have quite a good size hole, these ones. But I have bought ones that don't have good size holes, so just check. Slip on one of your little tubes there, and then another, get on there we go, another little copper bead there. I'm going to find my measurement. Oh, I should be able to see that where I bent the wire. Yeah, I was pretty much spot on there. Oops. Yep, there. So I'm just going to give it a the space with the nose of the pliers there, so I've got enough room to wrap. Bend my wire over. And I should have left myself a little bit more wire, but I think I will make a couple of wraps around that. Just make that loop a little bit smaller. There we go. And hopefully I should get a couple of wraps, and if I don't, I'll have to make another one. There we go. I only need 2 wraps. There's no weight or anything happening with these. Like, they're not holding anything together. They're just finishing off the top of that Pull it in a little bit tighter. Whoop. There we go. Now it doesn't even matter if they're a little bit loose. Mine aren't, that one's not too bad, because they're hanging, so the gravity's going to hold them where they need to be held. So don't worry about trying to get them all tight, because when you come to your other longer ones like this, there's nothing there holding those. So it's just gravity when they're upside down. Tuck your little tail end thing in there, straighten up your wire, and then just do the same thing there for the rest of them. So measuring your, putting your what's names on, and measuring up your next size up. So just measure it up like that, and see where the loop comes. I've got that on the wrong side, and that would be there. Oop, there. So then I've got my, and making sure this part here is very straight as well, as straight as you can get it. So I would have my copper bead on my tube, my other copper bead, and I would turn a loop up the top and just 2 wraps so that they all look the same, as I have done with all of these. If you look at those, they've all got the 2 wraps at the top like that. So make up 5 of those, and when we come back, we'll put the earring together. Okay, so we've got all our little chimes made up here. So now comes a decision you need to make. How are you going to hang them on the earring? This is how I've hung mine, but there's like, you can do this. Gosh, you can move those out. You know, I'd probably always have the long one in the middle. So put those 2 there, and then have those ones hanging down the side like that. Or actually, don't need to have that one in the middle. You could go have a longer one, that one. There's probably a few ways you could do this. Shorter one, longer one, and shorter one. Or you could go just a matter of playing around with it, seeing what you like. Get that down there. 2 medium size. They don't want to behave. 2 medium size, 2 smaller. So you could have them like that, or you could just put 3 on if you wanted to. So you could have, you know, long, short, long, whatever you wanted to do. That you could make up your own design, but I'm going to go the way that that I had mine. So I've just got some 8mm, sorry, size 8 Picasso seed beads here. So I'm going to place one of those on, and then one of the smaller ones on there, another seed bead, and the second longest one or second shortest one, whichever way you want to look at it. Sorry if you can hear that noise up the road there. That one property over there doing work on the property. I don't know what they're doing, but they're making a lot of noise. There's a lot of trucks and bulldozers and backhoes and whatnot going on there. Totally digging up one of the paddocks. Okay. So come on, last one, don't misbehave. There's always got to be one guy in the bunch, doesn't there? Okay. And then here, on the end here, we're going to turn it up. Now, I wouldn't turn it up until you've added all your beads on. You may even be able to fit little, let me have a look here, 4mm, 3mm little crystal beads on there, if the holes are big enough. I don't think my holes are big enough. If I remember right, I could only fit a 22 gauge on these ones. Yeah, they're tiny holes. But if you had beads that you could fit, you know, your little crystals on, then do that, and then just turn your end up here. And this is for no other purpose than it just looks a little bit nicer, like that. Pop that in there, and I meant to get these out. I've got it, if I can grab them. Yes, I have. Little stopper for the end. I'd probably get some a little bit smaller than that. You can get those little tiny ones. They're just like little, I don't know what they look like. Oop, didn't even stay on. Stay on there. Push him in hard enough. Yeah, so then that's your back of your earring, and I push that out of shape. So this is why I would go with the 18 gauge, because even though we hammered that, yeah, I would get the smaller little stopper. I don't have any, but you can get these tiny little clear plastic ones, and they're just like a little cylinder shape. Yeah, that's what I would use anyway. Or the ones, what do you call them, the butterfly one might even work better, but I don't have any of those either. I don't make many stud type earrings, but I've pushed that one all out of shape. I have to reshape him. Anyway, that's our earring. I'm going to stop the video now, and I'm going to put together a couple of different options. So I'll just take these off, and then put on a couple of different coloured beads and different size beads, so you can see, you know, just to give you some idea. Okay, so I'll stop the video here, and I'll do that, and I'll be back with shortly. Okay, and here is option number 2. I've used a 6/0 seed bead there in the orange. So as you can see, it gives it a totally different look, and even spreads out your little chimes there. So, and another thing I wanted to make sure that you did was make sure you put your chimes on the right way, so that if you can see I've got 2 wraps on each one of those. So make sure when you're putting them on the earring that you have them facing the right way. So that's another different look there. I'll come back with another one for you in a sec. Okay, back with you with the last option, and I've used some copper 3mm, pretty sure they're 3mm, yeah, 3mm bead balls on those. So I think, like, once these ones, especially once they're oxidized, cleaned up, polished, they're going to look beautiful. And again, they separate the chimes here at the bottom a little bit more. So you've got 3 options. I'm sure you could think up more options. As I said, if you could find a say a 3mm, or even maybe a 4mm, might be a little bit too big, 4mm, a 3mm little especially faceted crystal bead or gemstone bead would look absolutely beautiful on that. But you have to find ones that you can fit the 20 gauge wire through the hole. So yeah, that's our earring, and I hope you enjoyed that. I know I said I wasn't putting out a tutorial again until between Christmas and New Year, but I just needed to keep my mind off a few things, so I did this. And I will not be doing another one now until the week between Christmas and New Year. So I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I probably wished you that in the last one. I can't remember if I did or I didn't. And yeah, Facebook, we've over 100 members now, which is absolutely fantastic, and there's a lot of inspiration on there for you guys. If you need some inspiration, not just from me, but from all the members, they're uploading their photos of their jewelry that they've been making, answering questions if people have questions about the jewelry. It's just a lovely community. So if you feel a little bit lonely or something over the Christmas, I know a lot of people do feel that, there's lots of lovely ladies there you can have a chat with. I upload stuff all the time myself there to give you inspiration on pieces that I don't show on YouTube, or pieces that I've maybe started in a tutorial and didn't get finished. I will post the finished photo up there. Also, I've got my Patreon. I'll leave both links down at the bottom in the description. And Oh, and I will leave the measurements for the little chimes from our earrings. I will leave the measurements down there. Oops, for our little chimes. Oh, they're all falling off. Okay, well, that's it from me. Everybody take care, and please stay safe over the Christmas break. I know that the Northern Hemisphere is having some horrible weather at the moment. Just stay safe, especially on the roads, you guys. Yeah, drive carefully, and you know, just give your loved ones a great big hug at Christmas time, especially. A lot of people need it. All right, guys. See you all in the next video, and yeah, bye for now.